which is why today I felt it was appropriate to speak to my friends and colleagues in the House of Commons about one of the most difficult decisions I have ever made. I just informed my colleagues in the Conservative caucus that I will be resigning as the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. And I've asked the Conservative Party National Council, I will be asking the Conservative Party National Council to immediately begin the process of organizing a leadership election. As our party embarks on this exciting opportunity, electing a new Conservative leader and Canada's next Prime Minister, I intend to stay on as leader of the party and the official opposition. Serving as leader of the party that I love so much has been the opportunity and challenge of a lifetime. And this was not a decision I came to lightly. This was a decision I came to after many long, hard conversations with friends and family over the past 2 months since the election campaign. This has been an incredible challenge for our family to keep up with the pace that is required to lead a caucus and a party into a general election. My wife Jill has been absolutely heroic.
Hear, hear.
But in order to chart the course ahead, this party, this movement, needs someone who can give 100% to the efforts. And after some conversations with my kids, my loved ones, I felt it was time to put my family first. Our Conservative team is always stronger when we are united. When fiscal Conservatives, Red Tories, Social Conservatives, Libertarians, Quebec Nationalists, Conservatives in rural Canada and urban Canada, in the East and West come together, great things happen.
Hear, hear.
We elect strong Conservative governments that deliver lower taxes, smaller government, more freedom, and stronger human rights. The party that we've all built together is far too important for one individual. Our party is not a cult of personality. It's not shaped by whoever's name is on the masthead, but by the hundreds of thousands of Conservatives who pound in lawn signs, sit on their riding associations, and donate a few dollars every month. And as our party begins to embark on this exciting opportunity, electing a new leader, my only ask to my fellow Conservatives is this: let's stay united. Let's stay focused on our one shared goal and our one shared priority: to deliver a strong Conservative government who can unite our country and make life better for all Canadians. For the oil worker out of a job, for the senior who is choosing between heating and eating, and for Canada's position on the world stage. I believe in this party. I believe in our movement. I believe that we will be the government after the next election. I got involved as a teen because I love this party. I ran because I love this party, and I ran for leader because I wanted to help this party. I will continue to serve my Conservative caucus. I will continue to serve the great people in the fantastic riding of Regina Capel.
So there we have it. I don't want to go through the whole speech because I don't think it's worth the time. Good afternoon, my fellow Canadians. Today we see a leader step down from a party who wasn't worth the leadership brand, who acted foolishly as leader, whom in his campaign made, I would say, a below average effort to try to become Prime Minister of this country, and the person I foremost blame for the Conservative loss and the Liberal victory. My friends, if you're listening to this, you already know from my channel, if you subscribe to me, or if you've seen my videos in the past, that my position about the Conservative Party is not exactly partisan, because many things that Scheer has done is worthy of criticism. The Kinsella case is one of them. But the problem is, I heard that he actually resigned because he was using Conservative Party donations, money from the Conservative Party of Canada, to fund his children going to an expensive private school. So I suppose before the scandal breaks and causes more negative press, that he decided to resign and not further damage the reputation of the party. Now, from those of you who watch my channel, to me, the ideal candidate for leadership is Pierre Poilievre. And the reason for that is he has done a great deal of hard work in damaging the Liberal Party reputation and Trudeau. You can watch here as he goes in the house with Trudeau. This was really funny. And
the Prime Minister is still stuck with the self-serving triumphal talking points as before. It's like he didn't even notice that 71,000 people lost their jobs last month, that half of Canadians are less than $200 away from insolvency, that those insolvencies have reached decade-long highs. Yes. Will the Prime Minister put aside his self-praise for just a moment and get out of the way so that Canadians can get back to work and get ahead?
Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we recognize, even with the good news and the numbers over the past years, there are still far too many Canadians facing real difficulties. That's why we're going to continue with our anti-poverty strategy. That's why we're going to continue investing in families and supporting Canadians who need the help, including by increasing the Canada Child Benefit for children under 1, including by supporting our seniors with increases to the guaranteed to the old age security once they reach 75. We know there is much more to do, and we're going to remain focused on supporting Canadians right across the country, because that's what this government does.
Well, member for Carleton.
Well, Mr. Speaker, if self-praise could build economies and create jobs, then we wouldn't have lost 71,000 of those jobs last month. We wouldn't have a higher unemployment rate than across the average of the G7. We wouldn't have higher unemployment than the US, UK, Germany, and Japan. And we wouldn't have hundreds of thousands of people in energy, forestry, and manufacturing that have lost their jobs. Will the Prime Minister stop making rhetorical love to himself and get out of the way so Canadians can get back to work?
See, this guy is fantastic. So, as I said many times in the past, Pierre Poilievre, that's a man I consider worthy for leadership. It's the difference between him and Scheer. You can see Scheer looking like with pride upon Poilievre here in the house. Just here for a second. Right here. This is Scheer right here. And you can sort of see that when Poilievre rises to address the house, he looks up with oh, this is going to be good kind of look. So, essentially, Poilievre is the opposite of Scheer in every way. Poilievre is not intimidated by the Liberals. Poilievre likes to engage. It's comical, actually, because he really enjoys making fun of them, you could say, but it's not exactly making fun of them. It's like pointing out how stupid you are. I really like that approach. I like a leader with that kind of, let's call it, drive. Michel Rempel was another one, but I think Poilievre is more suitable for the role. The trouble is that when he was asked if he wanted to become leader of the party, he promptly turned it down. I don't know if he's going to be in the leadership running. And the sad thing is that if Maxime Bernier had stayed in the party, I think that he would be the choice now. Because if he had stayed in the party, let's say a hypothetical if, it would be very likely that he'd still be reelected, I think. What I believe, and you can open to speculate about that, and I apologize if I offended my PPC supporters, but Maxime arguably lost his seat in his own riding because he went off on the tangent that he did. If he had been more patient with the Conservatives and stayed on board, I have no doubt he'd be leader of the party on the next leadership race, let's say. So if you're looking at it, I don't want Scheer to be the main point of this article, but I do want to say that Scheer stepping down as leader of the party was an absolute necessity in so many different ways. Essentially, the way he ran the campaign, I term it as lazy. I term it as a man that failed to show any strength in his words. Exactly the opposite of Poilievre. When Poilievre speaks, you know that he knows what he's talking about. He has confidence in what he talks about. If it had been a leadership debate between Poilievre and Trudeau, Poilievre would have just absolutely won it hands down. It wouldn't even be a contest. Now Scheer also, he did okay in the debate, but again, it is very forgettable. Scheer's personality is forgettable. He's very soft. No power in that person, in that individual. And it's like the weakest Conservative leader that I've ever seen. So, my friends, this resignation of Andrew Scheer is a blessing in disguise, I think, because if we give it a chance, another leader may come forward whom actually can take the party in a good direction, in a stronger direction, because this guy, Scheer is to me a clown, a goofbag. Him and Trudeau, they both seem not mature enough to be a leader. And I'm not really sure why he is in that same position. But I have a feeling that Canadians on the whole thought that he wouldn't win, and that in turn moved against him. A lot of ridings were split by 1,000 votes or less than 1,000 votes. There are a few key ridings that he could have taken away from let's say the Bloc or the NDP, that got absorbed by other parties. But essentially, he was a very, very bad leader, a very, very poor candidate for the election to throw your support behind, more or less, a bad inspirational leader, let's say, that inspires people to come vote and so on and so forth. Like the whole West, a massive chunk of the West voted the Conservatives as a blatant sign to Trudeau that you are not our Prime Minister. Let's just say it like that. And in spite of that support, Scheer couldn't do anything to rally support more strongly in the ridings that were needed. And I mean, it's the fact that he's just a very poor quality leader. And I'm happy he's out. I don't know how many of you feel the same, but, I think the Conservatives need a strong leader with a voice that will challenge Trudeau. And not only Trudeau, but the defense minister. I don't know if Harjit Sajjan kept his position, but like Bill Morneau, that guy, like I would attack him with a concentrated group of Conservatives that would just make it their project to keep attacking the legitimacy of this government. And I have a feeling that if Scheer hadn't been the leader, the minority would be that much more smaller, I guess you could say. Like they would have fewer seats. They would need the support of the other parties that much more. And it's possible that if it was different leadership, the Conservatives would have won the last election. You know, it's to me, his leadership was outright useless. And the Liberals made hay of it in there's a live address going on right now in the background. And many Liberals are gleefully giving statements and so on, you know, insulting the Conservatives and whatnot. But I mean, you look at Kinsella, you look at this latest debacle with the donations from the Conservative Party to be used for his own personal use. They hailed Scheer as the next Stephen Harper. He's not even in the same ballpark as Stephen Harper. He's nobody. So I'm very, very pleased with the news. I'm happy that Scheer is out. I would appreciate your comments, and you know, I only wish that Maxime Bernier had stayed in this party. I do, because Max is the lead, the ideal leader, and he may have a chance again to become a leader somewhere else. But at the moment, he holds no seat. It's a tragedy. So. But if he had stayed with the Conservatives, you know, you can argue the principle, he had no choice, yada, yada. But, you know, if he had stayed in the Conservatives, he might be leader now. Because he was the next best thing, which I found surprising after Scheer. You know. He wasn't the next best thing. It was the percentage of the vote. He was second place vote for leadership, I believe. But if he had stayed, I have no doubt when the leadership race is called, he would win. So I feel terrible. The man lost a substantial opportunity to run the Conservative Party and correct it in the proper way. It's amazing why things work out the way they do, but it's also a tragedy sometimes. So, but I'm happy that Scheer's gone. Thank you for viewing, and please comment below anything that you think about Wexit or about your thoughts on this party. The Conservatives need new leadership. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.